Hello. Happy Monday, everybody. And welcome to House Calls with Thom Filicia. How are you? Hopefully you had a great weekend in shelter, a shelter in place. Hopefully you maybe had a little bit of an opportunity to do social distance socializing, but in a responsible way. It's always best to stay home, sort of that we can kind of hopefully see the light at the end of the tunnel. I hope. It is a gorgeous day today. It's sort of the first day of spring, it feels like. It is so beautiful out. I'm going to let you see. Well, you know what? I'm going to get us associated with what's going on today. So, remember, questions would be great. Today we're going to be talking to Celerie Kemble, a great friend, someone I work with in the licensing world in product, and she's going to be a lot of fun. She's always great. She and I have known each other forever and ever, and we're good friends, and we have a great group of mutual friends. So she's going to be awesome. Let's see if Miss Celerie Kemble is ready to go. And let's see here. Waiting for Celerie. Here we go. Miss Celerie!
Hey, Tom.
How are you? Oh my God.
I think I'm good. It
I think,
changes minute to minute.
yeah. No, well, first of all, you look great.
Oh, I must have some good lighting. It's about to rain, but I've been living outside most of the day, so.
Yeah, you look great. You look like you're in a very tropical, lovely place, right?
Yep,
Um,
I'm down in Palm
Florida?
Beach. I'm at
You're,
my mom's house.
you're in Florida. Oh, by the way, your mom's house is awesome. Love it. That's cool. Good place to be. Good place to be weathering the storm, as it were. So you've been good?
Yeah, I've been down for almost
Yep.
3 weeks now. I've got my kids here.
Yep. I was going to ask about the kiddos. They're all good?
I mean, again, minute to minute. I
Yeah.
have almost killed them, 1,000 times.
Does this help?
I'm drinking so much, it's disgusting. But I don't know. It feels okay. It feels
Yeah.
necessary.
No, I have one glass of wine in a day when I do this. And then after I'm done doing this, I'm going to do some organizing. And then
I haven't started day drinking.
I mean,
You're ahead of me.
I only do one. I only do one glass when I do this, and then I don't. I have a rule. I can't really start drinking until like 7. And have like whatever before dinner, drink and some wine with dinner. But trying to keep it in check because I feel like it's like when you're on when you're at a
Sorry, my
hotel
nose
pool
tickles.
or you're at the beach at a hotel and you're just like, well, I know it's only 11 o'clock, but it's a beach at a hotel.
Well, I've been asleep by 10:15,
Me too.
10:30
Yeah.
every night.
Yes.
So my
Yeah.
my 7 o'clock is really 5:30.
Yeah. I literally am now getting up when it's like dark out for still an hour. And I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. So, okay, first of all, I'm happy that you're healthy and happy and in a beautiful, safe place like your mom's house. I want to talk about your mom as well. And also, I'm glad the kids are good. That's awesome. That's one of the things I wanted to check. And I'm sure they're going banana town. But being at their grandmother's fabulous house in Palm Beach is a good place to go banana town. Do you ever just sort of give them to your mom and you're like, they're your problem?
Well, normally that's one of the biggest attributes of coming down here is, they run off with her and I'm free, but I'm being so careful with my
Yeah.
parents because of
Yeah.
their age
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
we're literally living in half the house.
Yeah.
And
And then,
I've been cooking in an outdoor kitchen. My
yeah.
kids are doing dishes in a bucket every night because we're really trying to,
Yeah.
at least for about a month, because I don't
Yeah.
trust the kids and the 2 week thing.
Yeah.
It seems kind of
Yeah.
random and arbitrary when they have no idea.
Yeah, I agree. And they're really, yes, I think that's really smart. And I think that's really smart for you guys to be, kind of playing safe rules for like the first 3 to 4 weeks. I think I'm
It's
taking this very seriously. I've been in quarantine. Today's like day 24, 25. And I actually had the virus in New York, went through it in about 10 days, 7, 8, 9 days, something like that. And then I'm up in Skinny Atlas, and I then got pneumonia. And then anyway, so then I was here and
Oh,
I'm all
that's
good.
scary.
But I'm all good, and that was all a couple weeks ago. So
Mhm.
I'm feeling great. So I have some questions for you. Okay, so you're in Palm Beach. You're at your mom Mimi's house. Please tell her I send my love and
I
to
will.
stay. But your mom started your company, Kimball Interiors, was started in 1982. Is that right?
I think 86-ish.
86-ish. Okay, got it.
Mom went off on her own about when I was in like sixth grade, I think.
Wow, that's amazing.
Hmm.
So you grew up like your mom is a designer and was a designer when you were really young. What was that like? Were you like interested in it? Was it just like a part of like how was
Well,
it,
I
growing?
had the only working mom in
Yeah.
my grade school class. So
Yeah.
that made her very exotic. You know,
Yeah.
she had an air of, busyness. And,
Yeah.
when she made it to one of my parent teacher
Yeah.
conferences, it was always like skidding in at the last second. So
Yeah.
my mom had this incredible energy. So I thought it was cool that she worked. I didn't
Right.
particularly care what it was she did, but she seemed
Right.
more dynamic
Right. Right.
than, you know, a lot of the other mommies.
No, no, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Also, I think when we were growing up, I mean, my mom was a stay-at-home mom. Like she was just a mom until I was the youngest of three, and so by the time I was in high school, I think that's when my mother became like sort of a residential real estate broker, and that was like, and that was kind of like we were excited for her because we felt like, she kind of like. But I think a lot of moms just in those days just were stay-at-home moms forever or so it was a little. I thought it was kind of cool. I love that my mom was kind of doing that. And I also was happy. I think it's great for moms today, working moms. I think it's so great to be able to have that, especially having a career like interior design where you can kind of really you can play by sort of a little bit of the school rules and the kid rules. You have a little bit of freedom, sort
yeah,
of.
mom was able to pick and choose.
Yeah, yeah,
And I feel so lucky now
yeah,
having having the same freedoms.
yes,
I feel like there is a lot I miss, but I
yeah,
also have a different level of intensity for the things that I can
yeah.
participate in.
And you're raising your kids. You're in New York City. You're based in New York. Your mother's company's based in Florida still, but you guys are a partnership, which is really cool. But what was it like growing up in Palm Beach? How was that?
Oh, it's just such a good place to be a kid. Oh my God, sorry, here comes one. Hold
Ah,
on.
oh
I think,
no.
hold
Which
on one
who's
sec.
the
I'll give you.
rascal?
This is my little one. This is
Hey,
Wick,
hey,
um, who
what's
will join us for a moment, and then I'm going to send him back to do his
hey,
schoolwork.
Rick, how are you?
Well, then you're going to have to come up with something. This is my friend Tom. You can't hear him because my
Hi,
earbuds are in,
how are
but
you?
he's saying hi. Even if you finished, why don't you go? I know you have so much room cleaning, or go read a book. I need about
No,
probably half an hour. Give me some
half an
time
hour.
frame. Run
Yeah,
off, okay? Go, Lovey.
that's
Here.
awesome. Is it hard for them with like not being able to like be super social? Or are they?
They've got each other, and they're
Yeah,
like slammed with activities down here
right.
because I'm making them really, they've never cleaned their bathrooms before. I mean,
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
spoiled children,
yeah, yeah,
and they're doing laundry, dishes, bathrooms, they're
yeah,
helping cook, they have
yeah,
their schoolwork, they're fishing,
yeah,
crabbing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, that's great. Oh, that's
Yeah.
so cool.
So,
That's great. Yeah, that's wonderful. I mean, that's good. That'll be the first of all, these are life lessons. I mean, I really think it's interesting to have this. Look, it's not a great situation, and I'm not promoting this in any way, shape as a positive thing that's going on around us. But I do think that having this minute to sort of slow down, you can make it into a positive experience at some level. Certainly for kids, I think
yeah,
it's
I'm not happy about the reality and the
no,
direness of the circumstances,
yeah,
but I'm living out part, a fantasy I've had,
yeah,
which is
yeah,
living in Palm Beach, being home with my kids, being able to
right,
participate in their
yeah,
schoolwork.
yeah,
Um, I mean, I am cooking some atrocities,
yeah.
but
Name one. Name one
but
of your atrocities.
oh God, I might have to show you a picture before we get off.
Okay.
I tried to make homemade French bread last night
Yes. Oh wow.
out outside.
In
So
your kitchen.
I did go to the oven for the, the baking part. But I don't know where I went wrong. I created something instead of like a nice crusty brown skinny little piece of bread. It looks like an albino Jabba the Hutt turd.
That's
It's it's
that sounds
globby and misshapen and
I
oh.
I have to say I'm here. So I've been here now for a few weeks. I have a friend from New York, my friend Ernie, who's now been here for a week, and he's staying in my guest house, and he is great because we every night we kind of cook together, and we've done some great things. We did, we've been grilling and we've been doing a variety of different every night. Like one of us will take the main thing, and then the other one will do the
Is
sides.
it warm enough to go out on the lake or what? I've lost touch with New York. What's the
Yeah,
temperature up there?
well, it right now I would say it's about 50-ish, 50, maybe 55 today, something like that. And it's sunny. It's really nice. It's like an early spring day. So my boat I could probably put it at the club right now. My docks aren't in at my house, so they come out in the winter and they go into my dock house. I have like a boat house that's a dock house, and then my docks go right up. So here I'll show you. Like here's the.
I've driven by your
There.
house with.
So that's looking out my living room window. And
Oh,
there's my little
beautiful.
guy. There's my little guy. And so yeah, it's and there's the little dock house down there that has all the docks in it. But and then I have a guest house up there we go. I have a guest house over here and whatever. And here and then this is just, it's like blah 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 blah. Here. I'm sitting in the living room, whatever. So that's where I am. But it's good. It's a really great, I feel really, it's like a great place to be. And everybody here is playing by the rules, like in an insane way. And I actually went out for the first time yesterday, and I went to, there's a Mexican restaurant in town that I actually designed, which is hilarious. But
I've been there.
Oh, you have?
It's beautiful.
Because I couldn't believe it was open. And I walk in, and you're only allowed one person in at a time, and you can order. There's nowhere to sit, and there's a bartender, and you can order drinks, and then you can go outside and walk around the village while they're making your food, and then get your to-go. And it's really, and they have everywhere. All the restaurants have like plastic hanging. You say kind of plastic things hanging. Everyone's wearing masks and gloves, so you really feel like. So there are people using all. It's great. It feels. They're taking it really seriously, and they're being very smart about making it so that they can still function as a business. And I was like, oh my God, I was like on my third margarita, like, I love this. I didn't even know. I went to the club yesterday. I walked the golf course. Ernie and I walked the golf course, and because it was just too muddy to play or anything. But and the club is closed. It's supposed to be, everything's closed. So, okay. So some background on Miss Celerie Kemble.
Sorry, I keep derailing us.
No. I love it. That's great. That's what it's all about. I love that you're a Harvard girl. And that was your undergrad, correct?
Yeah, my 25th reunion just got canceled.
Oh,
that was supposed to be right after Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah. I'm sure you'll do it. They'll do it.
You know what? We'll be old next year too. We can celebrate it then.
So let me ask you a question. So what did you study when you were at Harvard?
I was an English major.
You were?
Mm-hmm.
That does not surprise me. That's really cool. I could see that. And what were you? So you were an English major, and what were you thinking of? Maybe you were going to go into design, work with your mom. What were you thinking when you were in college?
I had no plans in college, but
Yeah.
I actually wanted to be a psych major originally.
Really?
And then I realized maybe a week in that psychology isn't necessarily about people. It's about math.
Yes.
At least as you're learning it. And I was like, whoa, not for me.
I was terrified of math.
Yeah.
Of that kind of math. Like practical business math is not a problem for me. And I actually, that's sort of comes very easily. But that sort of the study of
statistical analysis. So 5 days in, I was just like, okay, I want to read good literature. I want if I'm going to read 1,000 pages a week of homework, I want it to be written by writers, not by scientists.
Not by scientists. Yeah.
And that was my speedball out of.
Yeah. Wow. Now, were you there for 4 years? Or 5? I don't know.
Just four, just a
Four.
basic undergraduate degree.
Good. That's good. Yeah, yeah. Good for you. You did it in four. It took me about 5.5. But anyway,
I'd still be there now if
yeah,
if I could have
yeah,
afforded it and if my friends would have stuck around with me.
yeah. That was the thing. You didn't really want to be there for much longer. As soon as your friends were all gone, it was like, wait, what's happening? I don't know what's going on anymore. Yeah, that was kind of a weird thing. But yeah, for me, I was studying. I studied interior. It still amazes me that I actually went to college for interior design, which is like, it's like,
That's
isn't that bizarre?
really, yeah, because I think of you as somebody who would
Yeah,
run around trying everything and integrate it
yeah,
all, but to be so focused right off the bat, that's
yeah. No, I knew what I really, yeah, I knew what I wanted to do. I be interesting. My program, I went to Syracuse University. My program was in the School of Visual and Performing Arts, which is like the art school of Syracuse, and and you have to do for 2 years. You have to do kind of a your core curriculum for the art school. So you're doing painting and plastics, and you're working on all of these kind of. So you really have to do like there is this exploration before you really kind of pick your major, and that was really fun. And I did really love that. I loved having the ability to take sculpture and oil painting and then watercolor, and then you're doing art history, and you're doing, and then of course you're doing your psych and all that, like you're doing your kind of university core stuff as well. But it was fun. I loved it. But I mean, I just can't imagine. I mean, Harvard. I mean, was it intimidating? Were you nervous when you were going there? Were you like, what was it like when you were first? I would have had a heart attack if my parents even dropped me off at like Cornell, let alone Harvard. I mean, my friends that went to Cornell were like panicked because it was so competitive. You know, it was like crazy.
I went to a pretty rigorous high school. So we were convinced we were doing the hardest work possible and that once we got into college, everything would be a breeze.
Yeah. Was it?
And yeah,
It was?
it was. I
Oh my,
mean,
hilarious.
that's not because what they're teaching at Harvard was easy. It
Right.
was that
You were
I
prepared.
probably was taking the soft stuff.
Right.
And I mean,
Right.
I think what was actually the most exciting for me was the capacity of the other students.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, had I been a budding nuclear physicist,
Yeah.
it would have been there for me. But I
Yeah.
don't even know what building those classes took place
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Um,
That's so funny.
so, I mean, I think with all colleges, uh, it's as much as you pursue,
Yeah, I agree.
and I'm a reader. I'm a writer. I
Yeah.
like I like hearing brilliant people speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that gave me fertile ground to
Oh, that's awesome.
participate, but
Yeah.
there was nothing that I was chasing that was so
Right.
grueling. I
Right.
mean,
Right.
high school
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
tough.
Was tough. Yeah. 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 I could see that. I could see. Yeah. College was like. I think also college was like a much bigger experience because it was like there was a social component of it that was much bigger, and so I think I felt like it was kind of this rolling ball that you were. High school for me was like high school would roll and then it would stop and then it was like you were at home. You know, you were. It kind of stopped and started. College was just like this.
Well, high school was really
Yeah.
competitive, and
Yeah.
I was afraid if I missed the target,
Yeah. Yeah.
I wasn't going to go
To
to
Harvard.
the places I wanted to go.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
With college, it was a little bit more omnivorous. It was about
Yeah. Yeah.
experience and people,
Yeah.
and they were all
Yeah.
there. It was great.
Right. And it was really cool. Yeah, that's interesting. You know, it's funny. So when I was in college, I used to spend summers in Nantucket. And one of my good friends, Scott, one summer he and I lived together. He went to Harvard, and then the one summer that we lived together on Nantucket, it was Scott and I think it was like one,
Is
two.
this my Scott? Is this our shared Scott?
No, no,
No,
that's
a
not. No,
different
that's
Scott. Okay.
Scott. This is a different Scott, and Scott Fine. And I lived with him it's actually we all lived at his parents' house because his parents decided not to use their house that summer, and for whatever reason. And there was four of his or three or four of his best friends from Harvard were all of us there. So it was like five Harvard guys and me, and I was like, you know,
I've had that experience too.
but we had our clothes on.
Yeah. Well, sorry for you, Tom.
I know. No, we're all straight. It was very sad. No, it was really fun though. But it was definitely an interesting. I really noticed that summer. I was like, wow, they are. I mean, they were cerebral at a level that I was like, this is. It was kind of. It was really. It made it actually really fun. And they were also. They. I would say they had the work hard, party hard philosophy at a level that was really insane. But it worked for us back in the day. I may still adopt
Yeah,
it
I
from time.
probably couldn't have lived through more than 4 years now that I
Yeah,
think about it.
yeah. So okay, so now here you are. You grew up. Your mom was a designer. You studied English, and now you end up like. How did you end up going from? So did you go immediately right into working with your mom, working in design?
Oh God, no.
What was the transition?
I worked right out of school in film production.
Wow.
So I that sounded the most alluring. And an interesting thing about Harvard, one of the fields that it really pumps a lot of graduates into is the sort of agency world in Los Angeles,
Yeah.
the comedy writing.
Yeah.
Um, so there was a pretty big group of people who had their eyes set on filmmaking.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think maybe that was also this was 1995. That was the hot career.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted
Yeah.
that. Like where now I imagine my children are going to grow up wanting to be, TV news comedians.
Yeah.
It's what we were all focused on.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah. News comedians.
no, I mean it's like, what do you want to be when you grow up, Trevor Noah?
Yeah. 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 That's funny. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's hilarious and it's smart and it's interesting and it's multi-layered and it's actually hopefully very factual and it's a great way. News has become such a crazy industry that has grown so much since I remember when there was like you'd watch three ABC, NBC, or CBS, and it was like the same news, exactly the same news, like delivered by Ted, whatever, Cronkite or whoever. And now it's like there's like news for every personality, point of view. It's
Well,
interesting.
I think from the comedians, that's where I feel like we learn the most,
Yeah, I agree.
which,
Oh,
is has its disadvantages because it can't possibly be the truth. It's a real softball
yeah.
entry point.
Well, I
But my
don't know.
kids know so much, and it comes mostly from John Oliver, Trevor Noah,
Yeah,
you
I know
know,
it's John Oliver, but yeah,
Jimmy
so
Kimmel.
interesting. I think it's almost sometimes it's a little bit more truthful because they can kind of like they have the ability to push the envelope a little bit more. I think sometimes the traditional network guy, actually, what's his name? David Muir just bought a house. Right, I can see it from right here, from ABC. I think he's on. But I think that yeah, I don't know. I think they can push the envelope a little bit harder, and it's more interesting what they are. They're able to take a stronger position because they're not like news people. You
And
know?
they're allowed to be emotional because
Yeah,
what you're following
yeah,
is their interest,
yeah,
their horror, their
yeah,
humor.
yeah.
So,
It's amazing. Okay, that's very cool. Love that. Okay, so I have a question for you. How do you, Celerie Kimball, describe your style, your aesthetic? That's like your thing that you loved or you really want to be known for.
well, I think my business is a service business.
Yeah,
So we do a lot of work where we're exploring different styles and lifestyles and trying to make them look cohesive and beautiful. But personally, my sense of style is way more eclectic, collected, um, quirky, sentimental. I like the mix of pretty and fun.
yeah.
I'm really simple terms, but
To say though, pretty and fun. I would actually say, I mean, I think this is an amazing compliment because I think my personality is very similar to my aesthetic. I don't know how I would even describe that, but I think your personality and your personal style is very similar to your aesthetic. Like the way you carry yourself and the way you are socially and the way you are, I think, just as a human with your children, with your friends, the fact that you're like, you know, a Harvard girl and also you can be really silly and down to earth and normal And I think that has a lot to do with the multi layers, you know, that you kind of bring to your design.
Well, I think growing up with a mother who was a designer
Yeah,
made me appreciate things that were pretty, but also it was a lot more about having it be playful and fun
yeah,
than um than getting it perfect. So
yeah,
I think that gave me a level of confidence
yeah,
and the
yeah,
the chance to follow
yeah,
my whimsy
yeah,
in design
yeah.
more.
Yeah, I love how playful your mom is as well. Like even like when I was at your mom's house for that fun event that Bronson did, that was just seeing these little like vignette moments was really cool. And actually, that brings me to a question. It's actually someone that asked us one of our viewers' questions. Um, Celery, is that a family name?
No, it was a joke while my mom was pregnant. My real name is Cecilia,
Yeah.
but everyone has called me Celery since the moment I was born because the joke stuck.
Oh yeah, that's cute. But I love it. It's a great name, and I thought that was a cool question. The other question we have: how did Palm Beach influence your design style?
I think Palm Beach is a huge influence because
Yeah,
it's a
I
town of sort of well-traveled, pretty spoiled people who
yeah yeah
are all bringing, I think, their sense of delight to a second
yeah
home. So
yeah
there's a lot of sort of extreme points of view, but
yeah
many of them relate to the indoor outdoor, the
yeah
floral, the colorful,
yeah.
a little
Well,
bit more relaxed. It's
yeah
it's it's strangely for a town that has some pretty epic houses.
yeah.
The life is casual, or it's.
Relax.
I
Yeah,
haven't worn shoes in 3 weeks except for my trips to the grocery store.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's what happens here.
yeah. No, that's great. By the way, that's one of the things I describe Skinny Atlas as. I always say people are like, "Why do you love Skinny Atlas?" And I say because I'm usually driving around on my boat trying to find like my shoes, you know, my dogs. Like I don't know what's going on. Like I don't know where, you know. And I'm like, I love that. And there's something really nice about, you know, sometimes when you're in the Hamptons, I find that like I have to have like another a look in my car because you can't, you know, you have to be ready for it. And it's great. I love it out there, but it definitely is like it can be. It's a little bit more intense than I think. Um, Even Palm Beach is. I agree with you. I think Palm Beach people really go there, and I think that the weather and being sort of off season, you know, when
Mhm.
people are there when it's cold in New York and they're just so excited to like kind of like relax.
It's
So I think,
less composed,
yeah, I
which
agree.
for me is
Yeah,
an
I,
environment I'm a lot more comfortable in. It's a
yeah,
little bit like being asked to give a formal speech, and you
yeah,
think, "Oh wait, I'm going to waste 100 people's hour.
yeah, yeah,
I really need to prepare,"
yeah,
as opposed to being asked just to talk.
yeah,
So I'm very grateful in an environment where we can
yeah,
actually be ourselves, and maybe it's not perfect, but at least.
yeah. That's cool. I love that. So, okay, another question. For me, my question is so when you were working in production and you were, I'm sorry, in film and all of that, what brought you back to design? How did you make that like?
Well, I didn't realize I'd been doing it the whole time. I worked for Miramax briefly,
Yeah,
and then I went to work with an independent film company. And strangely, decorating the film
yeah,
offices,
yeah,
going out and buying these old farm tables, and we lacquered the legs of them red. And I had more fun decorating our office, and I was spending my time in flea markets shopping for friends and ex-boyfriends and anybody who
yeah,
would hand me cash. I would wake up at 6 a.m. because it was fun and go there, and it was just exciting to buy things. I mean, I'm really deep. I like to
yeah.
buy stuff. And it
That's all.
it it was kind of a aha moment when I realized I was doing what my mother did uh, for free and for fun, while the work I was doing during the week, like, it was progressing and I was getting somewhere in my career, but that felt more dreadful.
Yeah,
Um, and so I called my mom and I asked if I could come train under one of the designers at her firm in Florida. Also,
yeah.
I'd just been dumped by my boyfriend. So,
Oh God.
so I was in a throw my whole New York life out the window moment. And I was like, okay, I'm going to Florida where my heart won't hurt. And, I'll work out of your office, and I needed to
Yeah,
learn because I had no no real training. So it was a real crash course down there,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just took off.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so funny. That's cool. Well, I mean, it is funny. It's always interesting to hear how designers sort of found design or design found them. Um,
Well, I
so
was lucky to have such a head start. I mean, I probably would have been folding fabric samples for 5 years had
yeah,
I not had a mom who
right.
trusted me. And
Yeah. And that you trusted her and you grew up with it. Yeah, that's great. No, that's really cool. And I think people are very, like it's just interesting how so many people that are doing interesting things in design, how they found it, or how it found them. But you
I think it takes bravery though to believe that what you do can become your income.
yeah,
And it takes the support of the people around you to
yeah,
I don't think people take that step alone. I think you have to hear a lot of
yeah.
voices.
Yeah, and I think it's only recently that the business has really become kind of like this more well-rounded business. And with that being said, one of the things I want to talk about is, so you also have products. You have licensed product, and I know that you had furniture for a while, and I think are you with a new furniture manufacturer now, or are you is that happening? And also, I know we have a similar manufacturer for bedding, and I just wanted to ask you, like, how do you like the whole world of product?
I love the product world.
Yeah,
Um, I really like working for and towards an objective sometimes instead of
yeah,
towards a client. And the
yeah,
process of thinking through what's missing in the marketplace or what would what would be useful to my design business as a tool, it
right,
cranks different wheels, and
right.
it seems so logical. And I've really
Yeah,
really loved a lot of our North Carolina partners.
yeah, I do too.
It's different being part of a larger business that
Yeah,
has quarterly,
right,
and real marketing and
right,
learning
right,
about the from
right,
production to
right.
delivery.
Yeah, it's amazing. I always
It's
say
exciting.
it's amazing how many hands go into it, from concept to sampling to actual product to delivery to the high point, the whole thing. And and I think that, like, for example, one of the things, I don't know if you know this, but Eastern Accents
I love
have,
them.
I love them. Don't you
Love
love
them
them?
so much.
They're the best. I agree. And they're making masks now, and they're
I
making,
saw that.
yeah, they're
Of
making.
course they are. They're
Of
the kind
course
of
they.
people who think of it and just get
I
it
know. You do it.
started.
You do it.
Yeah.
And so you can go on to easternaccents.com, go to COVID, and buy them for $14, and they're all in, like, our decorative top of bed, yours and mine, and other things. And you can pick which ones you want, and they're $14, and that money goes towards them making the other ones for people in hospitals, homeless shelters, and all those kinds of situations. So
Oh
they're
wait,
really,
I didn't know this. So just go to
yeah,
easternaccents.com and they have a COVID button.
COVID, and yeah, COVID, and you'll see them, and they're really cool, and they're $14. And it's, so when you go to the supermarket or whatever, you can put it on, and it kind of looks good. I found these gloves at Lowe's that are $1.97, and they're like striped cotton with like gray suede, and I bought like four of them, and I throw them in the washing machine, and that way when I go to the supermarket with that and that, I kind of feel like it's like kind of interesting. It's not like the blue rubber gloves and like the paper thing with that you feel a little bit. I don't know. It's like trying to make it a little bit fun.
Hmm.
And I think that it's because it's, in some ways, it certainly for the next 3 or 4 weeks will be the new normal, and we don't even know how long people will probably start to keep that in effect. So our shared license, we both have, just so other people know, Celerie and I both have bedding with Eastern Accents, and they're a really great company that we both love. And Celerie's bedding is absolutely amazing and beautiful because, again, it looks like it's like part of your vignette right now, your moment with your hat and your dress. I mean, it's very much your, like, it fits your
Well, I
personality.
love. Did you see the outdoor pillows we did together?
Yeah, love.
So those are fun.
Yeah, really great. And so it's been really fun. And also, what I love is I love the diversity of designers that they have, because there's not so many of us, but there's just enough. And it's really nice to have, like, these, some people's designs more masculine, more feminine, more traditional, more whimsical. So it's nice to have all of that, because I actually buy some of your product for when I'm buying stuff. It's like I need what you make because I don't make it, for like when I'm doing certain people's like bedrooms. I have to sort of soften what I do, which can be a little bit more tailored and kind of like not as I don't know, not as pretty. So I love bringing your pretty into our world. It's very helpful, and I love it. And your colors are great. Like you have great sense of color, which I really love.
Thank you, Thom. I
And
love yours.
well, thanks.
Your sheeting is my favorite, with the little teeny tiny squares of.
Yeah,
I love the
yeah.
prints.
Thank you. That's awesome. Thanks. So yeah. So one of the things that I remember that was really fun that we did was when our licensed partner, Eastern Accents, they bought this house. They bought this house in High Point called Pandora's Manor, and I talked a little bit about this when I did sort of a factory tour with them on house calls. When I talked about, I wanted to get the message out there about their masks. So, but we talked about Pandora's, and we remember we had that sort of sleepover.
That was hysterical.
It was hilarious. I was laughing with them about when I had at one point we all went and put our pajamas on. And
I don't wear pajamas, Thom. That was like
we had to put something on, right? We come downstairs, and I'll never forget Barclay had on like just tighty whities and a robe, and he had his robe open, and I was like,
so good.
I was like, you are hilarious. I mean, I didn't know he was that funny, but anyways, I thought it was really hilarious. So I love that you love designing product, because I actually really like it as well. And I'm one of those weird people, and everyone's like, are you going to Low Point? Are you going to Low Point? I'm like, I actually really like High Point. I really like it. And I love seeing you there and so many other amazing people that I think in the last, I'd say 7, 8 years have really elevated.
I feel like I have real friends. High Point is as big a point of my life as college in terms of the number of people who are precious to me now.
Yeah, I agree. I have actually some of my best friends are people that I've met and established relationships with at High Point. And I always say High Point, I went to summer camp when I was a kid, and I just thought it was like, it's like going to summer camp, because you're seeing people you haven't seen in a while that you love, and you're in this like weird playground where it's like you're kind of outside of your world, but it's familiar. And it reminds me of like, I'll be sad when I get to a point in my life where I don't go to High Point anymore. And I'm actually sad that High Point is canceled, but I think it's so responsible, thank God, that they're all, that they moved it back, and who knows if they'll have to move it back again or how that's going to work. But I just love that industry is also being responsible, because I wasn't sure how that was going to roll.
Me either, but I'll be there when they have it.
I will too.
I need to be there. It's so important to all parts of my business.
I wonder if we're going to have like Eastern. I wonder if we're going to have gloves and masks on. I think we will. But you know what? I think that might be the way to do it. I think that's the way we're going to have to roll this time. So how do you see the relationship between interiors and product, like in your space? Like, do you use your product for your interiors? Do you kind of like, you design for what you need, or do you design for what you think the world needs? How do you see that relationship?
I design items I can't find.
Yeah, that's that's so.
So a lot of times it's based on, I would use this table lamp if it were a wall mounted lamp 1,000 times.
Yeah.
So it comes from need. I also, a lot of times I'm shopping for particular jobs, and I'll come across really cool vintage pieces, and I may not be able to buy them or place them at that time, but I'll buy them because I think this needs to be reborn. And
right. I agree. I get inspiration from everywhere, from new things, from old things, from things that are not even the thing that they're going to become. Like, I was looking at like a candlestick, and I was looking at some of the details on it, and I was thinking about door hardware. I have to design this door hardware right now for a client. And so I was like, I borrow like inspirations and ideas from different things, and I love that. And I think the relationship between product and interiors is so, I think they cross pollinate so well.
It also
And
exercises different like ways of thinking of utility. Like when you have to
yeah,
design a chair, you think
yeah,
about chairs differently. You look at chairs
yeah.
differently.
And you
And
look
then
at the,
also when I
you,
can't place a chair I designed because it sucks, I realize quickly, what changes I need to make to my own designs.
yeah. I agree. Well, actually, interesting. A question from one of the viewers said, Celery, how did you come up with your feather wallpaper?
Ah, the feather bloom wallpaper. That was actually a design from an Aboriginal artist
Yeah,
named Joy
very
Kingawari Jones. And there are actually
amazing.
flowers down here in Florida called
Yeah,
bottle brush flowers. And if
yes,
you were to put them in a circle, so it really struck me. It's something that I've been doodling very similar shape forever.
yeah,
And so those two designs sort of came together as the wallpaper. And what was stunning is the scale of it. It's not a little
yeah,
floral. It
yes,
If I stand in front of the wallpaper, the repeat comes up to my eyes. It's like a
yeah.
50,
That's
50 inch,
that's amazing.
it's
I like.
almost the size of a small cartwheel.
Yeah. That's amazing. Like a junior cartwheel.
Yeah.
Cartwheel Junior. That'll be a new show. Um, so okay, another interesting thing. Your family you have a very interesting and cool family. I've been on your stepdad's boat. I know your mom. She's amazing. You're amazing. Now your sister Phoebe, she has Kimball Kitchens, right?
Hmm.
So tell me
She's
a
a
little bit
chef.
about. She's a chef, and she lives in London, right?
Right. I think she ran away to get away from us. Um, but yeah, she lives in London and she's like, you know, I don't even know how to describe what happens when my sister gets near food, but
Yeah.
it's a great thing to be around.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's so cool. Well, what's interesting, and I think and the reason I wanted to bring that up is that, I think you're, as a designer, and your mom and your sisters in sort of this sort of world of food and entertaining. It's really, you really have like a lifestyle. You come from your lifestyle, the lifestyle you grew up with. It's very infectious. Like you're very much a lifestyle person, which I think is really cool. And it's very, I would say it's very intuitive to you in terms of like your personal aesthetic and your humor and your sensibility. So it's like, I think it's cool that lifestyle, a lot of times people sort of look at lifestyle as sort of a business concept. Like, oh, I'm an interior designer and I want to be a lifestyle person. So they start kind of going in all these areas. I think you're kind of like, you're intuitively or like
Well,
innately a
I think
lifestyle person.
my
And
family
yeah,
motto is like inclusivity.
yeah,
So our whole like all we did as children was like watch my parents or entertain or
yeah,
we have a guest bedroom where like the mattress is never cool.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
it's the doors are unlocked and our friends come and they'll host dinner parties at our house. Like we have
yeah.
friends from out of town and we'll get the funniest invitations. We'll be like, "Oh, well, I'll be in Florida. I'll be cooking dinner at your house. Please come."
Uh,
And I
that's
do
hilarious.
that in New York all the time.
Yeah. Well, I love that. I mean, I'm the same way. It's an open door policy, and I love having people here. And I say to them like, you can stay in the guest house, or you can pick a room in the house. Like it depends on what kind of experience you want. And sometimes I have people come if they come and they bring their kids and they're like a group. I'll give them the house and I'll go in the guest house. So yeah, I love having that sort of energy, and I love having all the doors open. And when people bring their dogs and their kids, it's like I like having all of that like shenanigans and mayhem. It's to me, it reminds me of the way I grew up at a certain level, just like entertaining, having people around, um, and I just think there's a lot of like I look at, I always look at to me, I'm always inspired by people, and I love sort of connecting with people wherever I go, and I think that travel for me, I love seeing all of the things and going to all of those places, but the people are what really give me so much information about what I'm seeing, like in terms of why it is the way it is. And I don't know. So to me, I do like having that kind of energy in my home. Um, So okay, so you love entertaining. We I feel like we've got a great sort of window into Celerie Kemble, who I love and adore. So Celerie, if you were a superhero, what would your superpower be?
Wow.
Want me to give you an example?
No, I just need a couple seconds to think.
Okay,
What
okay.
would my superpower be? Um, I hope my superpower would be seeing the humor in things because I mean, I don't know if I can save the world with that, but at least I can at least I can enjoy
Right,
my time in it.
right. At least you could actually manage what's coming at you. You know what I mean? In which it sort of feels like, by the way, that's a great superpower for where we are right now today and what's going on, is to be able to sort of somewhat enjoy and find the positive and see the humor in sort of the wackiness of
Oh,
what we're dealing with. And I think that's, by the way, I think that's a great superpower right now. And it's actually one of the reasons I kind of wanted to do this is that I wanted people to have like the ability to realize like, look, there's, we can still connect, we can still, we are going to be the solution. We are the solution, and part of the solution is kind of keeping things alive and going and moving forward and seeing the humor in it. I think is really important. Um, okay, another question I have for you: what makes an interior beautiful to Celery Kimball?
oh, that's a lot easier.
Okay.
A beautiful interior has usually has a lot of color, some sparkle. So it could be windows or mirrors or
Yeah.
candlelight.
Yeah.
Um, I think a lot of times you don't need to have much, but if you have a beautiful plant, like to me,
Mm,
the
yeah.
something alive, something
Yeah.
growing
Well,
that
wait. Hey,
creates beauty.
speaking of that, hold on. This tree, I'm not kidding you. This tree that's in my living room right here, this guy,
Oh,
this guy has been here for 10 years. Now, this is a weekend house that sometimes I don't use for weeks and weeks at a time.
so
And
it's a
sometimes,
survivor.
I mean, that tree needs an award. I don't know how it's still alive. And by the way, it's the same size it's been since I bought it 10 years ago. And I don't know, he's just like a he or she or they, they are awesome. They are awesome. Anyways, is there anything, Celery? First of all, this is so much fun. You're amazing, and I want to
So
say,
are you, Tom. I want to hang out. Like we could just do this
I know.
daily.
Don't you feel like I have to
Yeah.
say this has been so much fun because I feel like I kind of get out of my world, and then I'm okay to like go clean out a cabinet for
I have
like 4
so
hours.
much cleaning out to do. That's
Oh,
my house has been like my family has been in this like on the land we're on for
yeah,
5 generations now.
isn't that
So the
amazing?
amount of stuff. I mean, we're
Yeah,
all sentimental. So it's unbelievable what's in this house. I could be here till,
yeah,
November
yeah.
and have a clear out project a day.
Okay. Okay, with that information, if there was one thing in a like let's say the house is on fire, not your kids, I mean I know you would take your kids first and then you guys would all run out, but I'm saying like if there was one sort of sentimental thing in the house, was there anything that you would be like I
Oh,
have
it's photo albums. I'm a
photo?
visual person. I,
Yeah.
that's how I remember. And
Yeah.
my whole life is in this house and pictures and my family and it I need it to I mean it makes me teary thinking I'm
Yeah.
such a crier.
Yeah.
It
Yeah. Yeah.
just the
Um,
idea of not having something to spark those memories
yeah.
because it's what
It
keeps
is
things alive for me.
I, it is amazing. I've been cleaning out my ski room, and inside my ski room, there's a whole bunch of like boat bags that have like boxes in them with photographs. And I've been going through the photographs. It is first of all, I found me in braces. I found like sweet 16th birthday parties. I found um, you know high school part. I mean, it's like crazy stuff, like so much fun. And I keep sending images to like my friends I grew up with and who are all over like the world in the U.S. And some of them are here, and I'm sending them things. It's really funny. Is there anything you want to share with our people today that you're up to, or that's happening, or that you're just sort of top of mind? Anything?
I mean, I really think it's just holding your head straight right now and
Yeah,
appreciating if you're lucky enough to be
yeah,
with your family. I mean, that's all consuming to me right now.
yeah.
it's that there is some germ of something beautiful and special, some level of introspection or
Yeah.
resetting that, I mean,
Yeah.
I know I need it. So I
No,
hope we can look at that inside all the parts that are
yeah.
otherwise
I
terrifying.
I think you've nailed it, and I totally agree with you. And I'm so in that space right now, and I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm going to take this opportunity, which is not really anything that we could have predicted or imagined. Really, I could have never imagined this. But take this opportunity and try to make it into something that when we come out of it, at some level, I feel like I've grown and I've learned, and I can apply this to moving forward and being sort of a better person and a better, hopefully, if we're lucky enough to get through this, I mean, I almost feel like I almost didn't. Um, and so I feel like I've learned a lot so far,
Mhm.
and it's scary and it's bizarre, but it's also been really interesting. So I want to thank you, Celerie, for taking this time away from your family, and also
I don't know what
considering,
they're setting fire to back there.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
know there's something.
but it smells delicious. I want to thank you seriously for coming on board and being part of House Calls. And I want to thank everybody else for being a part of House Calls today and answering my house call and inviting Celerie and I into your world, into your home. We really appreciate that. I hope it was enjoyable. Please send questions to media@thomfilicia.com for our Friday kind of thing that we do where I actually answer questions. And thanks for sending all your questions today. Tomorrow, Tuesday at 1 o'clock on House Calls, the ever wonderful Genevieve Gorder from HGTV will be with us tomorrow. And HGTV and like 20 other shows. She'll be a lot of fun. And I'm so lucky to spend my afternoons with all these cool people. So thank you again for answering my house calls. Thank you for inviting me into your home. And thanks, Celerie. I love you. And I'm so
Thank
happy
you, Tom. Love you too.
that you're healthy and happy and you're with your kids and your kids are great. Wick looked amazing. Go see what they give your mom a big hug and a kiss for me and stay healthy. And I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thanks. Bye, Tom.
Okay, love
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Bye. Bye, everybody. See you tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Bye bye.